unapologetic era, which is getting easier and easier to say.
For you, my unapologetic. And, or R. Sorry. When
She's
I
the
say R,
she's the only unapologetic one today.
it's been a week. It's
It
been a
really
week.
has.
I'm not unapologetic actually about anything at this fucking point, to be honest with you, because I'm just on a rampage.
Which week are we on here for you in the
Me?
cycle? In the cycle.
I'm ovulating, so I'm supposed to be fucking nice as hell, and I'm just in a
Oh,
bad mood.
that means that it's really bad.
I'm just in a really bad mood. I think I'm having to overexert energy to be nice to my husband right now, and I just want to tell everybody else, fuck you.
I can feel that. I can understand that. I mean, sometimes that happens with the dog. I don't live with anybody.
Let me tell you guys, I'm gonna just throw this out really quick and we're gonna jump in. But I'm a firm, I like self-help books, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm reading The Love Dare for the 50 millionth time.
That one's next to my bed. Never read it.
I love it. It's an amazing book. I love it. So
Read
I've been
it.
such a bitch lately that I had to go back and start reading The Love Dare again just to be nice because I gotta stop being such a mean person.
So you're reading the book to remind you how to be nice or just to be nice?
How to be nice to my partner. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm totally on in it. I'm only on like, I don't know, day 8 or whatever. But sometimes we need reminding that we have to treat people a certain way if we want to be in a relationship.
Do you want to wear a rubber band on your wrist so that whenever you're being an ass, you can pop the rubber band?
No, I don't need to do that.
Or
I'm not that
Peter
bad.
could use a squirt bottle like we do with the dogs.
I should give that to him. I've known people do that to children when it's just terrible. It's absolutely horrible.
It is absolutely
But I should give
horrible.
it to him to be like, here you go.
It could be a little comedic relief at least. Because I know, I can only imagine Peter's face if he pulled out a water bottle to squirt you.
But then I started
Because he'd be
thinking
so straight faced.
dirty thoughts.
It is that week for you. How you went there from there, I don't know. But there should be more like a whip involved and not a squirt bottle.
I need a spanking.
He would really appreciate that turn of events.
Yeah. Again, it's that time of the month. But anyway, let's roll into what we're really going to talk about. So, any of y'all joined us at some point in time and have followed us on social, we put out there, and Leah put out there very, very bravely, I will admit, a Valentine's date offer.
And I have made a fool out of myself.
So if y'all want to go watch the video, it's there. But she offered all these gentlemen, or lack of the word gentlemen, a opportunity to hear their voice be heard, to join us on the podcast, that I would be picking a date for Leah for Valentine's Day.
I thought it was a fair, first of all, it was definitely a blonde ADHD moment where I was like, ooh, this is a good idea, but didn't fully think it through. I thought it was...
Me neither when I agreed to
Yeah. I thought it was a good idea. So we get asked all the time, Ashley and I both, by men specifically, and they say that they want to be able to come be on the podcast and be the male perspective because they don't feel like it's being represented well. And that's not really a fair way to do that. Like, you can't just come on and blurt out how you feel when you're not sitting in this seat every time. No. So what I offered was, I didn't have a date for Valentine's Day. Take me on a date, a proper date. You're paying for the date. You're planning the date. You're doing all the do. And just like as if we were normal in life, Ashley would get to pick because I don't want to pick. I want Ashley to pick because it's not like a lottery.
I'm gonna be honest,
it wasn't a lottery.
Sometimes your picker's questionable, so that was another reason why too.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, I wanted an outside perspective. And we did do it in some crunch time, but we chose someone and they didn't work out because their child got sick, and he actually was very kind about it. And still has been kind about it. And it wasn't the flu, it was strep that the kid had. And he said the whole family ended up getting it. But anyway, so the second person...
let's talk about the first one. I went with my gut feeling, and he's been very appropriate this whole entire time.
He has been very appropriate.
And I really appreciate that because we've had, out of all the applicants we have, from the moment they applied, they were not appropriate.
No, which I knew that was going to happen.
I know, but you don't offer, I'm going to be honest with you because she's not going to say it, but you don't go offer a date to someone and the first thing you do is send a dick pic.
I mean,
you don't have to
I feel like it's a little forward when you haven't met in person yet. But
you're just being politically nice at this point, and that's okay because I can say it because you don't have to get involved in that. But dude, not appropriate.
It definitely leads into what okay, so this is what happens because then I go into the situation thinking that you're only after one thing, and so I'm going to stay walled up. I'm not going to let my guard down. I don't really want to get to know you. I just want to get through it at that point.
Yeah, check box.
Because if I just wanted to hook up, I would send a text. Like I would send that text. And in this situation, I really wanted it to be a all around everybody's benefited. The person that took me on the date would get to come on and be a guest, is tell their side of the story for the date, along with whatever else they wanted to say
Right.
about everything else that we discuss. And look, our first one we picked, he might do it, he might not do it. We talked a little bit about it. But I hate that it didn't work out because I knew that it would be fun and I knew it would be a fun story tell, and I don't want people to think I'm letting them down. Maybe we'll do it again for something different. We did try to rush it. Ashley didn't have a plan either, which is not her fault. It's my fault. But there was no plan for when these people technically applied or put in their ask for a date. Like she didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to do or what to ask.
I went back to my when I was going through the dating process after my first marriage, there were certain allocated books that absolutely helped me filter the BS from the dick pic dudes, from the whatever they wanted initially. And so I started asking questions from some of those books that I got. And you learn a lot about people when you ask them, what kind of
You know
animal
what?
would you be, and
Oh.
tell me why? Or if you had a superpower, if someone tells you they're a
I'm gonna be honest with
lion,
you, I can't stand whenever men open up like the dating app men, and they're like, "What kind of animal? What if you could be a color? What color would you be?" I literally go unmatched
right, it takes a lot of pressure off of
because I guess
the
I want things to
interview
feel more
process per
natural.
se, but it can be. So if
I also have a terrible picker,
but if a man comes to you and be like, there's no pressure at that point. Instead of just saying like, "How was your day?" I mean, that's boring to me.
yeah, don't ask me
I'm
that
not
either.
interested in traditional dating roles.
I mean, I don't know what the correct opening line would be for a dating app situation or if you're sliding into someone's DM. I personally think that if you're going to go that route, which I have been very vocal about, I don't think is a good route, but if you're going to go, you need to hit them up with something that you have in common. So it would be like, "Hey, I've been there before," or "Oh my gosh, I love that band. I saw them before." Like something that would open up conversation to something you have in common. Because if you just hit me up with the, um, and I'm talking like just a, no. I'm talking about even with a dating app situation because you have a profile, so people can see what you're kind of into. I mean, that's the whole point of it. Um, I have one friend that he has one particular icebreaker that he uses for everybody, and he openly admits he copies and pastes it. Um, Apparently, it works. It really does fit his personality too, because a person does not get any more dad jokey than this person, and that's what it is. It's a dad joke icebreaker. Um,
But what is it? What is it? Not going
I don't remember what it is. I know he's told it to me before, but there's a lot of dad jokes in his pocket. And I don't know if he'd have done that on me if it had worked or not. I don't know. I don't even hate like you just send me like a GIF or a meme, like somebody like send me something funny. I want to be with somebody who's funny. So could you try to be funny out the gate?
Because that's set in their personality and who they are if they are.
Yeah, like dad joke guy, like he's funny. He's dad joke funny, but he's funny.
That's what I
So
mean. That's
yeah,
good.
I mean, so it does fit him to work with the icebreaker being a cheesy joke. It's not like it's way outside of his personality, is my point.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to our Valentine's Day thing. Yes, it sucked that it turned out the way it did. But y'all proved my point again. Just absolutely 100% proved my point that there's no follow through, and connecting via social media is not a real connection. It's really just not. And y'all just a girly boys. I don't know how else to explain it. I sent you a voice message earlier, which I was blow drying my hair when I sent it, so that's why it came through the way it did. And I was like, that made no sense at all. I sent you a text, yeah.
Oh.
And I was thinking about this because I was thinking about some other things, and I remember like my grandmother went to finishing school, and she went through high school, and then she did finishing school, and then she was able to go to college. Now, obviously, she was born in the 40s. I think she was born in the 40s. No,
Close enough.
no, no, no. She was young, like older than that, because
Late 30s.
something like that. Yeah.
Late 30s, yeah.
But so obviously it was a long time ago. Is the point. But she was taught how to entertain, how to take care of a man, like technically, adequately. So, and then men mostly went to the military, where obviously they learned to be a man in the sense that you stay stable, you stay calm, your emotion needs to be in check, and that's what I think we're lacking. Is the men are so emotional. They're so emotional, and I am an emotional basket case. Like, I can't jump on that roller coaster with you. And how are you supposed to raise little individuals whenever you can't, like, you have your own period?
In high school, well, this was in a different state. It is a southern state, though, but we had etiquette class.
Yeah.
And it was a full blend of male, female, or whatever. But, like, she even would play clip. She was just this little tiny old lady, and I loved her so much. But even like movie clips with Clark Gable and this whole like spewing all of these emotions, but in a good way, in a masculine way. But we took etiquette class in high school.
Yeah, we took home ec.
Well, it was extension. It was even more extensive of like what.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'm gonna get in trouble for saying these things, but I do think that we are lacking that masculinity in our culture, and it's definitely like Gen X is greatly affected by it. Which, by the way, my children are Gen X, so I'm saying this from experience. But I can't do that. Like, I can't get into another relationship again where I know going into it, this person's emotional maturity is just not there.
Well,
So what am I supposed to do? Because
so are they not open for love per se?
no, it's they in their 40s still don't know themselves.
I was like, I mean, the brain is mature. The brain is mature enough by the time you're 26. 32, they say for men now, which is outrageous to me. But
Are you saying outrageous like that's too old or that's too?
well,
Okay, but a 32-year-old now, because of the way our culture is, a 32-year-old now is more like a 23, 24-year-old.
right.
Like I have a male friend who is around my age, and he's never been married, doesn't have any kids, and he has stuck in his mind that he needs a woman that's in her early 20s because he wants to have children with her. And truthfully, and I haven't had this conversation with him, but I will. Truthfully, he really needs to be looking at 30. Because even though that seems old on the geriatric side of pregnancy,
Yeah, whatever.
a woman in our culture today is really not ready to be a good mother until she's in her late 20s.
Or spouse, period.
Yeah, exactly. Because we are taught to focus on education, focus on ourselves, but very shallow focus on ourselves. Like, it's not a true work on ourselves, focus on ourselves. So I think it takes all that time and enough failure for us to be ready to appreciate and care for someone else, whether it's a child or a husband.
But that's crazy because you go back to your grandpa, like 18 years old, and you were married.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the expectation, and you were prepared, and the men were emotionally stable. Like, and now we're talking about you can't even consider being in a relationship or married so it's stable enough emotionally, mentally till you're in your 30s.
I mean, not everybody's different. Some people could be ready, but you know how hard it would be for a 24-year-old to find a 24-year-old male or female to find a partner that's on the same level of them if they were really ready at that age?
1% chance.
Exactly. And so then what happens? That 24-year-old who's taken the time to work on themselves and be ready, do they end up marrying someone way too much old for them? Or do they end up going back inward and just becoming like the ultimate single?
Well, back then you just got married young and you grew together.
Yeah, I know. Whenever I got married in 2004, that's what I assumed would happen.
Yeah.
And that's
you came
not
from a
what happened.
traditional roles household.
Very much so. And it's what I truly thought. I was born to be a wife and a mom. And it's not that I don't think that now, but it would have been nice to have had the confidence whenever I was coming out of high school. We're just going to say out of high school. And I know that is so young, but to think that, oh no, you could do other things too. Also, you can do that, but you also can do other things. And this is not a I'm a strong, independent woman thing. This is a I was not ready to take on the role of just being a mom and a wife completely and totally because I didn't choose a partner. I didn't choose the right partner. And why didn't I choose the right partner? Because I wasn't prepared.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I don't know if I'd have chose better 10 years later. I don't know.
I wish I could just erase a certain decades of my life, to be honest with you.
I wish I could go back to that fork. Do you
Wouldn't
know what I'm
cross.
talking about?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, do it like, how did I end up going this way? I know I know how I ended up.
Yep.
But if I had gone this way, like if I had just stayed in Lafayette and finished school at UL, who would I be today? I'd probably be. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say it out loud.
Or if I would have listened to the people I had respect for that were telling me this is a bad choice, instead of listening to my heart, not my mind, and not listening appropriately to the people that are like, yeah, don't do this. I'm like, no, it'll be fine.
I am now 100% that person that goes. I am now that old lady that goes, listen to me.
Let me shake you a little bit.
You do not know another person until you have been with them for a year, and that is in a committed relationship with them for a year, and you've seen all 4 seasons with them, and you still are going to be surprised. But at least now you have a good idea of who they are as a person.
Well, have you ever seen that where it takes 7 years to truly know a person?
Yeah, wait, I wonder if that correlates with the 7-year itch, though.
I don't know. But I mean, we've been married 7 years next week, so we'll see how this itch goes. But and I legitimately believe this because I've had basically my whole life has been 3 very long-term relationships with some fillers in between.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them have been 7 years plus. So
Is that your? Is that like your like?
I haven't
What's it
left it.
called?
I haven't left at the 7-year mark. I'm just saying, like, I really genuinely can contest to it is a thing. Like, you don't.
Seven's supposed to be a lucky number.
It is for me. I like 7 and 13. Those are my numbers. I love those numbers. But I can honestly say I legitimately believe in it. That you don't know someone until you've been with them for 7 years. So if you have someone getting married, oh, we've been together 6 months, we're getting married in a year. Mm-mm. It's not happening.
Yeah.
There's going to
That's
be.
the other thing too. Like if you get engaged really quickly, and men, I think once they meet their person, they do want to get engaged and start immediately. This really goes more towards a woman knowing a man, because
Yeah.
when a man knows, and you can lean on that. They're gonna they're gonna change their ways. They're gonna do everything they need to do to be the right person for you. So I would say more consistently, women are the ones that need to pay attention to this more.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, if you let's say you're together for 6 months and then you get engaged and now you're planning a wedding for the next year, so you're not married. Oh, you move in together and you're planning a wedding. No, that doesn't count because you are in the high of plan. You got the binder, bitch. You got the binder, bitch, and your whole life is revolving around that binder. And so no, you're in la la land.
And also during that time, you're so involved in that, what you're saying, the binder time, and you're not getting to know each other any more extensively than you already do.
No, you're getting to know that binder.
Yeah.
You're spending all of your time. And if something was to red flag during that time, you're not going to say anything because you got a binder to take care of. You got a goal at the end of it, and you cannot look bad.
No, those save the dates have been sent, and you
Mhm.
can't go backwards.
You cannot go backwards.
You're like, I committed, and this is the
Look, I got to
commitment.
give people who pull out so much props. Like anybody who is fully in the planning process, and then they say, we're not getting married, props to you. Props to you. I don't care what the situation was that caused you to do it, but that takes so much gut to say, this isn't right for whatever the reason is. I don't know if I would have had the guts to do it.
Oh, I absolutely would not have. Absolutely would
And
not
that
have.
goes both female and male too, because males don't either. They ain't got the guts to do it either.
Well, this is going to be a lot to put out there right now, but you would know this. So, 4 days after we got married,
Your current marriage.
my
Yeah.
current marriage, he decided it wasn't for him. Now, would things have changed?
What happened in 4 days, Ash?
I don't.
I'm
4
kidding.
days in, and he's
I'm
like,
kidding.
"Yeah, I made a mistake, and I can't do this."
Right.
So, what if he would have had the gut? He couldn't have. He knowing the person he is, couldn't have had the guts to put a halt when I was in binder mode
Right.
to be like, no, because he's not like,
Take a step back.
yeah, to take a step back when he should have. No, in the end result, we're fine now, and it's okay. like he's come and gone, and like we've worked through it. But I think if he would have stood up for that at the point before he proposed and had a conversation with me, things would have been very, very different. And there'd been a lot less heartache.
Definitely a lot less heartache. But this is one of the reasons why I actually do like the institution of marriage, because when somebody makes that vow and then they sign that legal paperwork, you can't just turn around and walk out.
Hmm.
You have a lot of steps to go through to be able to walk away. And so you stop and you think about it.
Yeah.
If y'all had this conversation before, I don't know if the result would have been the same, only because it would have been easier to go separate directions.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I personally think it's a good thing because you have to, you have obstacles.
That's
But
a very valid point, because when he left and he was gone for a significant amount of time, and I was like pushing, 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 like I need these papers signed. Like I know you're on the other side of the world. I know this is, but I need this to close.
yeah,
Like this
yeah,
needs to close. It's been months, and there's no reason to hold on to this, and we don't have kids together. Like there's no reason. Like
right.
cut ties and move on. And as soon as and I think he started realizing, like, kind of what you're saying is, okay, I did this, I signed on for this, and I basically needed her. And from what I understand, his friends were telling us the same thing. You either need to go back and you need to make it work, or you cut ties and you need to let go of this
Yeah, you
completely.
can't just dangle.
No, and he was dangling for significant long, and that's not fair to the other person.
No, not at all.
Emotionally,
My second divorce
mentally,
was like that also. He
it
he
was,
didn't want to sign either.
yeah. And I just don't. Well, both.
And that was not like you couldn't come back from that one. That one was done. He was like, I didn't want this divorce, and I'm like, okay, but could you just we had to hire somebody to serve him, went chase him down, and it's like, good lord. We're
You,
we're friends now though. So
but it is interesting because my that you say that is because both my marriages, when I was like, I filed first, and like it was like, and then they both were like, no, I don't want this anymore. I'm like,
no, too late.
too late, too much done, too late. Like you're saying, like we're not going backwards.
No,
You made this decision, and you're not.
no, because I'm not spending the next 40 years of my life going, I should have never let him. Like I'm just not doing it.
And I'm getting off your damn carousel, roller coaster, wherever the hell we're on in this up and down, round around shit. And I'm getting off, and you can stay on it and do whatever you want to do with anyone else. But I'm done.
Yeah, my second marriage, it was like a slow motion car accident happening every day.
It really
and
was.
I needed to roll out before we blew up.
That's a perfect way of putting it.
Yeah,
You're
so
like
I
you
did.
were on a roller coaster without brakes.
Oh yeah, it hurt to roll, but at least I didn't blow up. At least I didn't blow up. Yes, mom and dad, y'all were right. You always were right. I knew you were always right. Whatever. But no, yeah. Well, and then the first one, I remember telling him in my first separation and divorce, if the boys see you pack up and leave, there's no going back. Like I warned him. I was like, once the boys know,
Mm-hmm.
there in my mind, uh, there's one other thing in my life that I feel so definite about. That's also a threesome. But anyway,
We don't have time for that.
yeah,
We
no.
don't have
But
time for
I'm
that.
like in my mind, I'm like, there's only one other thing. I'm so like, but anyway,
I
I
have
was like,
so many questions. Move on.
once you walk out that door, like in my mind, I can't. You've now broke their hearts. My heart's broken, and it's okay to break my heart, but their hearts are broken now, and I'm going to go into protect them mode. I don't care about your heart anymore.
Right.
And that was the beginning of a long, horrible situation. But I do remember the last time that I went to that house before I was told I wasn't allowed on the property. He was like, "Let me fix it," and he was like, "I'll do whatever I have to do to fix it." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. I meant it when I said this." Like there was no going back. And in that time, a lot more damage had been done too. But
But that is so impressive, to be honest with you, and you're in that you stood your ground. Because so many women or men, it doesn't matter, don't. And they continue the cycle, and
well, during the time of me telling him you can't leave, and that conversation was like 9 months, and there were a lot of things where he did get me, a lot, really bad get me. But that day, whenever I said no more, I called my dad to come over and be there because he said he wanted to talk to me. So I asked my dad to come over and be there for not protection, but
your dad's
hey,
pretty level headed.
no, it wasn't
Like it's
protection. It wasn't even to like referee. It was a reminder, like a rubber band on your wrist. That is real. This is not. And then I also had my therapist on the phone. I called my therapist and I was like, this is what's happening. He wants me to come over. And I was sobbing, crying because I knew I was walking into a fire pit. And from that moment on, when I pulled out of that driveway, he has seen me as an enemy ever since. And it's been super fun.
That's a whole nother conversation when you get into that and they lose control of you and they can't regain it.
Yeah, and he's a special situation. But like if you were on the outside looking in, you would say that my second um marriage was way worse, and it really wasn't. It really wasn't. It was in
I
my
don't think it was either.
no, it wasn't. Like in a weird way, I was in this safe little bubble that I had made for myself. But yeah, was did he have all kinds of problems? And on the outside looking in, was it unsafe? Absolutely, you could see it that way. But I was so walled up from the previous situation that I was just going through the motions,
Yeah, that makes sense. Do
which
you,
I don't want anyone to, like, if there was anything I could do sitting here is to help someone else not feel like they had to make the decision that I made, which was to marry someone else to protect myself from a previous relationship.
that's the worst thing you could possibly do.
No joke. That's my point.
Like it's
That's my
don't ever do that. Don't do that.
that's my point. Is like if I could sit here and help someone that's like in a similar situation realize that on the back end it would have been I would have saved what 7 years of my life.
God, was it that long? Jesus.
Yeah, like 7 years of my life that I could have been working on me and growing and healing versus sticking my head in the sand and finding this little protection bubble that I made for myself.
Yeah.
Because that's what I really did.
You're
Because it was too much. I was overwhelmed.
you're closing yourself off from what could have been a better situation.
And I was totally
Another
overwhelmed.
fork you got.
I don't know if I'd call it a fork as much because I was in survival mode. So it wasn't really a fork. I wasn't thinking clearly at all.
I was about to say, yeah, your mind was it was in a fog.
A fog is like such an understatement. It's like I don't know what it would feel like to lose like a parent or a child or something and how life like turns upside down.
Mhm.
But in this situation that's what it was like. It was like life just kept going, but I was just you ever seen the scenes in a movie they're in New York City and the guy's standing in the middle of the road and world's just going
Yeah.
that was me for
Mhm.
years.
And I could on same exact thing. I can specifically remember sitting in this like restaurant or something. I was by myself waiting for someone to come meet me, and I literally felt like I was in slow motion,
Mhm.
and everything around me was just like circling at the lightning speed, and it was just an cinematic, like you're saying, cinematic view that I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
Because you can't even get your mind out of the fog or the cloud.
I want to make something clear as we're talking about this, and it sounds like we're stuck in the past because we're not. Um, I had somebody recently tell me they were really sorry that I wasn't able to get over like this past relationship, and you have to understand something. I dedicated my everything to that family, not just the man, but to my family, and the rug was pulled out from underneath me, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know it was up or down or around or whatever, and I figured it out, and I am out of that fog, and I have continuously worked on myself since 2020. I'm going to just be very honest and say I really didn't start to work on myself until 2020. But yeah, no, not stuck in the past at all. But and it doesn't define me as a person, but it has made me a better person.
Hmm.
And if there's a way for me to be able to help someone else be a better person without having to go through that,
Absolutely.
that's what I'm here for.
Yep.
That's what I'm here for. And look, in the meantime, we joke when we talk about the dating situations and men and how men's masculinity is dropped and women's masculinity has gone up. Um, that just sucks that is a literal symptom of my new life that I never thought I would even have.
Yeah.
It's just a part of it. I wish I didn't know it.
Right. I want to go back to, yeah, being naive in a some sort of way, but being able to live as an adult. But yeah, we made it full circle with all of that.
Mm. Well, because
All because we put Leah out there on the
yeah,
market
we
as a
joke
date.
about it, and we're like, and yeah, it's easy to joke and talk, and I do see a major cultural problem with men and women both. in today's society and trying to date each other. There is a major problem for sure. And I think all the time, golly, if I had married the right person in 2004, I would just be skipping over all of this. But I didn't. And so here I am. And so we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And
Even
I
though I
will.
feel like sometimes we're beating a dead horse and, but let me just I mean, it does look like I'm like visually like beating a dead horse over this over and over again. But it's if people wanted to, I'm a firm believer if people wanted to, they would. And they do in
Mhm.
relationships. If they want this, they're going to do this, XYZ. And if they want a good, solid emotional boundaries, if they want stay at home wife, if someone wants something to happen, they'll make it in their means to make it happen in a healthy way.
And if a man wants a woman, he will move freaking mountains to get to that woman and be with that woman.
I agree.
So if you got a man, he says, "This is just how I am," run.
Next.
Yeah,
There's
because
plenty.
man, I tell you what, they become like little fluff balls jumping on clouds whenever they meet the girl they want to be with. There's no denying it. Okay, we got to wrap this up.
Yep. For all the ladies listening, I'll throw this out there. I want to tell you the books that I read that were the most beneficial to me of getting to the point where I was in the marriage I'm in. You're going to laugh, Steve Harvey.
No, I love
I
him.
love his book. Think like if you act like a girl, think like a man, or act like a
Okay.
woman, think like a man. Fucking hilarious. Short, easy. Anything by Matthew Hussey.
Oh, yeah.
Love
We
me some
follow
Matthew
him on the
Hussey.
socials.
Yeah, love me some Matthew Hussey. Love Dare. And I will say 31 prayers for my future husband.
Okay, yeah.
Those are my y'all got to go read them all. And the Love Dare correlates to a relationship, but those are my ones that got me to where I want to be honest.
That's good.
So,
Hey, I'm not a reader. I can't, but I can listen.
yeah. Most of my audiobooks.
Yeah, I can listen.
But all right, guys.
Okay, we're going to wrap this booger up and we're going to see y'all next time.
Love you. Bye.
Guys.
Subscribe.